Welcome friends to the Beaver Dam. Today we're talking about meta fleets. And so we only have 3 right now, but we're looking at a 4th soon. Everyone's assumption is that we're getting another meta fleet here pretty soon. The question we have for the docket today is which one is the most important one for you to go for first? And I know a lot of people love the idea for going for the biggest, the best, the newest, and I wish I could say yes. Because like when it comes to Galactic Legends, honestly, Leia is a really good farm to start. Like, she's one of the best starting Galactic Legends to chase. You know, her requirements really don't require much. There's not a lot of Relic 8s. Like, honestly, she makes sense to go for as a first GL. But when it comes to meta fleets, it's very different, which is a little upsetting. And you see here, I only have one of them, and I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, there's a reason that it's the first one that I have. Unfortunately, these aren't the easiest thing to farm. When it comes to Leviathan, a lot of this looks like it would be easy to farm. You know, you have the Interceptor, you have the TIE Dagger, you have B-28. These are all farmable fairly easily. The problem is the Fury class Interceptor is a Conquest exclusive, which means you can only farm it from Proving Grounds. Additionally, to use the Fury class Interceptor at all and to like actually unlock it so it counts as upgrade to 4 stars means you need Malgus. So it's a secret extra requirement that you need Malgus, which is another Conquest unit. From day one of you starting the game free to play and getting to the point where you can farm Leviathan is 3 years, because it takes 22 months once you unlock Proving Grounds, which is at 4 million GP, and that's assuming that you have a team that can beat the Malgus Proving Grounds node and the Fury class Interceptor Proving Grounds node. Then you have to wait 22 months of farming if you're not spending any crystals, and even then it's expensive to spend crystals for Proving Grounds. So it's a really hard sell for me. And so 22 months after you get to 4 million GP is when you can finally unlock this fleet. And that's assuming you get all the other requirements, which includes a Relic 9 for Malak and a Relic 9 for Revan, which is painful. Relic 9s are so hard to get for early players. So overall, I wish I could say go for the Leviathan, it's worth the grind. But unfortunately, no. Then again, I could see an argument for the Profundity. I think the Profundity has an argument. A Relic 9 is hard to come by, but all of this is fairly easy to farm. There's nothing here that's too scary, but the fact that you have to get a Relic 9 and a Relic 8 does make it a little painful. The Relic 9s are, as I said, hard to come by in general, but especially for early players, Relic 9 is very hard to come by. So unless you're building a roster that's supremely focused on fleets or supremely focused on GAC, you're not going to have the crystals you need to get that Relic 8 and that Relic 9. And so it's important you find a good guild. It's important you do a lot of stuff to be able to go for this first. And there's also a secret reason why this is a painful thing to go for. Because one of the things that you need for this fleet to be good is the Millennium Falcon. So obviously you don't see a Millennium Falcon here in the requirements, but you do need a Millennium Falcon in your roster to make this team actually the greatest that it can be and to do everything you need it to do. And the problem is, Millennium Falcon, let's go over and look at the requirements for the Millennium Falcon. It is 7-star bounty hunter ships. And you know why that's funny to me? Why it's like, oh, 7-star bounty hunter ships, yeah, that's good, let's get the 7-star bounty hunter. It means you have to get 7-star bounty hunter ships followed by all the 7-star rebel ships, and so that's so much farming, because our ship from 1 star, like, or sorry, not unlocked to 7-star, 6 months. That is a 6-month farm with no refreshes, and that is painful. And so that's why I highly suggest to everyone that I talk to, you see it, me talk in roster reviews quite often, we talk about the Executor, because not only is it something that is super important for people, in the sense that, you know, you'll have a meta fleet and meta fleets can all counter each other, which is super nice. I love the rock paper scissors between the meta fleets, but on top of that, you're getting some solid requirements, You know, nothing too good, but you have the basics of a bounty hunter team, the basics of an empire team, and the basics of an imperial troopers team. So you have some start into some things. On top of that, you have the start into the executor fleet as well as a chimera fleet, which I absolutely love, trying to build out 2 fleets out of this overall journey. And so I really, really love that. But on top of that, you're getting the bounty hunter ships, which will get you Millennium Falcon, and then you can move your way into profundity. I think executor into profundity is one of the best things you can possibly do. It's painful. Going for 2 meta ships in a row is painful, and I am aware of that. The general rule is 2 GLs for 1 meta ship. So I usually suggest a meta ship, get 2 GLs, meta ship, 2 GLs. But the person that I have seen get the fastest to Kyber 1, it took him 23 months to get to Kyber 1. His farming path was executor first, followed by profundity. He had so many crystals lying around in his account because he was dominating his fleet shard that he was able to get Malgus just by purchasing him with crystals, which would normally cost $300. So something that's absolutely amazing is getting a meta fleet into your account. As for when you should do it, so obviously executor I think is the best. Yes, it has quite a few counters, but people still don't know how to work those counters. I still am getting holds in it in Kyber. I've got holds in it in Erodium, no problem. Erodium is right where the spot where it doesn't get you as many holds, but the fact that you can swing up to Erodium, basically just throw executor on defense, take everything else on offense, and then get to Erodium is insane. Like, that's so many more crystals you could be making, plus top your fleet arena, which is amazing. As for when you should do it, ASAP. I really wish I could give you a time frame that was like, oh, you should do it after you finish this. But honestly, as soon as you can, because it takes 6 months to farm a ship. And so the longer that you sleep on ships is the more time that your fleet shard gets to outstrip you, as well as the more time that it's going to basically take you to finish this fleet. And you need this fleet ASAP. A meta fleet does so much for your account. Pushing yourself to Erodium, giving yourself top rewards and a fleet shard, it just can't be beat. And so I'm not saying abandon your farms, I really am not, but put this into your overall farming path. You know, throw some of the ships that are requirements into your farming path early. On my free-to-play account, I'm going for Afra right now, but I have room in my account for extra characters, and so I'm farming the ships I need to get to Executor while I'm going for Afra on my free-to-play account. So don't sleep on this farm. Start working into it, especially because, like, Darth Vader's a requirement of this at Relic 7. Darth Vader at Relic 7 can solo teams, especially in Carbonite and Bronzium, and that's really what you need early on, is some good solos, some good teams that are going to be minimal investment to get the most out of them, like Imperial Troopers and things like that. And look at that, you're getting a Piet, Imperial Troopers, or Bounty Hunters that are really good at low gear. You can take a gear 8 Mando and kill out a lot of teams with a Bosk lead. And would you look at that, you have a Bosk lead sitting right here. Like, this fits so many of, like, the check boxes I have for an early farm. Like, it's a rough farm, I'm not saying that it isn't, and if it's too daunting, take some time, wait a bit, but it should be your, like, second, third, or fourth farm. If you don't have a meta ship and you have 2 GLs, it should be your next farm. If you're not close, put it after your next farm and just be farming the shards up until that point. But meta ships are so incredibly important, so please do not sleep on them. And as much as I hate to say it, I wish I could say go for the Profundity first, but you're basically getting the bounty hunter ships you need for Executor on the way to Profundity, which hurts my soul to say. And so Executor and a Profundity just makes sense. And Leviathan, I wish I could say go for it. Because I want to go for it. Trust me, I want to go for it. Old Republic is my favorite time period in Star Wars. There's very few things that I have read or played that I have enjoyed more than the Old Republic timeline. The Revans were my first farm. Like, I got Jedi Knight Revan, I got Darth Revan, and then I started going for SLKR. Like, they were my first farm. I would love to have the Leviathan in my roster. But the problem is, it's just Fury class, just 3 years, dude. 3 years. Painful. Absolutely painful. I'm not even at the point where I have Fury class unlocked. I don't have Malgus unlocked either. Like, it's especially a quick side tangent, not even side tangent, because it's fully on point. Another problem I have with Leviathan is it can be countered fairly easily at 4-star, 5-star, 6-star. Most of what makes it viable and makes it the absolute powerhouse that people see it as is the 7th star, whereas Executor and Profundity can do a lot of work at 4 and 5-star. They can, you know, fight each other, they can beat any fleet. Leviathan struggles when it's not 7th star, which is a lot of crystals to invest to get it to 7 stars, especially when you're not doing great. Obviously a Leviathan will dominate a shard that doesn't have any, you know, off-meta ships. But like if, you know, the people with the Lightspeed bundles right now go for Marauder and get them up to like gear 10, gear 11 for their bad batch, they're going to be countering your 6, 5, 4-star Leviathan, unfortunately, because I put a guide out how to do it. But overall, Executor should be a farm that's in your near future, and I hope you go for it. It has helped me so much, and it'll help your account too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the other meta ships. I've heard a couple people say that Profundity is a better farm, and it's hard for me because to get Profundity good, you have to farm Executor requirements, and so it's hard for me to be like, yes, absolutely. But anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.